Have you ever replayed a conversation so many times that you started hearing meanings that were never actually there? Or stared at a simple text message, wondering why they used a period instead of an emoji? Maybe you've imagined every possible outcome before making a small decision, only to feel more exhausted than when you started. From the outside, it looks like you're just thinking. But underneath, your mind isn't searching for answers. It's searching for safety. So why does your brain keep solving problems that don't even exist yet? And if you've ever caught yourself doing this, let me know in the comments. You're probably not alone. This is Psychology Streamlined, where we untangle the hidden patterns of the human mind. If these kinds of conversations help you see yourself a little more clearly, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it too. And if today's topic feels familiar, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you think too much, there's a good chance you've wondered whether something is wrong with you. Maybe you've called yourself anxious, difficult, or impossible to satisfy. But what if none of those labels tell the whole story? What if your mind isn't working against you at all? What if it's simply doing what it learned to do a long time ago? The human brain is built to protect you before it helps you relax. Long before it seeks happiness, it searches for danger. And sometimes, if your life has taught your brain that uncertainty feels unsafe, it becomes incredibly skilled at predicting every possible future. Not because you're broken, because somewhere along the way, your mind discovered that expecting the worst felt less painful than being surprised by it. That's why overthinking often appears during the quietest moments. Lying in bed after everyone has gone to sleep. Waiting for someone to reply. Driving home after an awkward conversation. Sitting alone after making a decision. The silence gives your brain room to start scanning. It asks endless questions, hoping one of them will finally make you feel certain. The strange part is that certainty almost never arrives. Instead, every answer creates another question. That's because overthinking isn't really about finding truth. It's about trying to eliminate uncertainty. Imagine growing up where emotions felt unpredictable. Maybe praise came one day and criticism the next. Maybe people were loving but inconsistent. Or perhaps nobody explained what was happening, leaving you to fill in the blanks yourself. A young brain learns quickly that paying close attention might prevent future pain. So it begins analyzing faces, voices, pauses, moods, tiny changes in behavior. Years later, those same habits remain. You don't just hear someone's words. You hear what they might have meant. You don't just remember what happened. You imagine everything that could happen next. What once protected you now follows you into ordinary life. That's why a delayed reply doesn't always feel like a delayed reply. It can feel like rejection before rejection has even happened. Your mind races ahead because somewhere inside, prediction still feels safer than surprise. The same thing happens with expectations. Many people who overthink carry invisible rules about who they should be. They want to be prepared, responsible. They don't want to disappoint anyone. Every choice begins to feel like a reflection of their identity rather than just another decision. Should I say yes? Should I say no? What if I regret it? What if they misunderstand me? What if this changes everything? A decision that should weigh a few grams suddenly feels like it weighs 100 pounds. Because it isn't only about the choice. It's about what the choice might say about you. And that's where identity quietly enters the conversation. When your sense of worth becomes tied to making the right decision, your brain starts treating ordinary moments like final exams. Every possibility gets reviewed. Every mistake becomes evidence. Every uncertainty feels personal. But here's the part nobody tells you. The brain has one more trick here. The harder you chase certainty, the further certainty seems to move away. Every new possibility convinces your mind there's one more angle you haven't considered yet. It's like trying to smooth wrinkles in water. The more you reach for complete control, the more movement you create. If psychology like this helps you understand yourself a little better, subscribe to Psychology Streamlined. There's always more beneath the surface. There's another reason overthinking feels so convincing. It creates the comforting illusion of action. Thinking feels productive. It feels responsible. It feels like you're preparing. But emotionally, it often becomes a way of avoiding something much harder. Feeling. Real emotions arrive all at once. They ask to be experienced without guarantees. But analysis delays that experience. If you keep thinking, maybe you won't have to sit with disappointment yet. Maybe you won't have to feel grief, embarrassment, loneliness, or uncertainty. The mind stays busy because busyness feels safer than vulnerability. It's a remarkable survival strategy. One that protected you before you even knew it was happening. As life changes, overthinking changes too. When you're younger, it often revolves around belonging. Do they like me? Did I fit in? Did I say something wrong? Later, it shifts toward achievement. Am I successful enough? Am I making the right career choice? Am I falling behind everyone else? Eventually, for many people, it becomes quieter but deeper. It turns toward relationships, family, aging, purpose, and time itself. The behavior hasn't disappeared. It has simply found new questions to protect. Because the brain isn't repeating the same thoughts. It's repeating the same emotional mission. Keep me safe. Keep me prepared. Don't let me be caught off guard. That mission can quietly shape an entire identity. People may even describe you as thoughtful, intelligent, or careful. And you probably are. But underneath those qualities lives a nervous system that has learned to associate thinking with safety. Like wrapping yourself in a familiar blanket during a storm. Like holding onto an anchor while waves move around you. Like walking through the same old room because you already know where everything is. Overthinking becomes familiar. Not because it's comfortable. Because it's predictable. And predictability calms a brain that has spent years expecting uncertainty. That's why stopping the thoughts often feels frightening. Not because the thoughts are pleasant. Because without them, your mind briefly loses the thing it has trusted for so long. In a strange way, overthinking can become an old friend. Not the kind that always makes you happy. The kind that's simply always been there. And maybe that's why people who overthink are often misunderstood. Others see hesitation. They don't see the invisible calculations happening every second. Others see indecision. They don't see a brain trying to protect a heart that remembers uncertainty more vividly than certainty. Others hear endless questions. They don't hear the quiet hope underneath every one of them. The hope that this next answer will finally make everything feel safe. Maybe that's why complete certainty always feels just out of reach. Because certainty was never the real destination. Safety was. And the two are not always the same. I'm curious, when did you first notice this pattern in yourself? Sometimes naming it changes how we carry it. If today's conversation feels uncomfortably familiar, maybe that's because you've spent years believing your endless thoughts were evidence that something inside you was wrong. But perhaps they were evidence of something else. Perhaps they were signs of a mind that learned to protect itself the best way it knew how. A mind that kept searching, kept preparing, kept hoping. Not because it was flawed. Because it cared. Because it remembered. Because it wanted tomorrow to hurt a little less than yesterday. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you strange. And it certainly doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. Some people carry their history in visible ways. Others carry it in conversations that never leave their own minds. If you're someone who thinks too much, maybe your thoughts aren't simply noise. Maybe they're echoes. Echoes of moments when paying attention mattered. Echoes of experiences that quietly taught your brain to stay one step ahead. There's nothing shameful about that. Only something deeply human. And if this gave language to something you felt for a long time, stay here with us at Psychology Streamlined. There's always more to understand.